Hi Scorpio, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I am going to be doing your love and relationship reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to give it 8 thumbs up, and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now let's clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. All right. Let's let the bowls sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Scorpio. Love and relationships, Scorpio. Scorpio. Love and relationships, Scorpio. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. And show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. Ooh, okay. So it goes like this. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels and spirit guides. All right. And one bonus card, since this one just popped out. Fantastic. Okay, can you see okay? Okay, I hope so. All right, now let's look at the chakra energy. This is going to be the place in all relationships, now whether it be our romantic relationships, our work relationships, our home relationships, that needs a little bit extra attention because we're going to be a little sensitive around these parts, okay? So let's see here. Scorpio, love and relationships, Scorpio. Love and relationships, Scorpio. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading. Fantastic. Oops. And then the energy that we have to be mindful of during this time. What is the energy that Scorpio needs to be mindful of? Love and relationships. What is the energy that Scorpio needs to be mindful of? Love and relationships. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. Fantastic. Okay. So we're going to turn the cards over. We are crowned right here with the Page of Cups. Now, Scorpio, as we know, we are represented by the Cups in the Minor Arcana, by the Death card in the Major Arcana. So we're starting off as students of love, students of what our heart wants, what we desire. So we're really open to trying new things, to walking down different paths, but also to taking in energy. We're very much kind of sponge-like during this time. It leads us to the world. This is what lets the world start opening to us and what has us opening to the world. It then leads us to the Hierophant. This is institutions, and this is also the commitment within relationships or marriage or what we really desire from our lives. Things start to open up in this realm. It's kind of like, are we looking towards a greater commitment within our lives? Has a switch turned in our head, flipped in our head, and we're like, wow, you know what? I really want to get married. I really want to settle down. I want that stability, that security. So here, there's a shift coming in. And now, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're not in a relationship, but it's for stability. It's for moving into the institution of things, something much more stable, much more comprehensive. it then leads us to the Six of Wands. Now, also, the Hierophant also represents Taurus energy, time frame April 20th to May 20th. The Six of Wands brings in celebration of self, a sense of moving forward with pride, head held high, also learning how to celebrate ourselves as we have the Emperor come in. This is Aries energy, time frame March 21st to April 19th. This is also very strong sacred masculine energy, yes, with the Hierophant also sacred masculine energy, but this is also like the patriarch. It can be a release of wounds from the father or from the male caregiver, all right? But in other instances, it's saying, like, I want somebody who's really strong. And I want that person to be strong and stable within their lives, know what they're doing, and be able to kind of keep up with who I am and what I want. Now, if we are interested in women, this is also finding somebody who's rather traditional. Okay, these two cards represent a rather traditional way of looking at things, but also there's a fierceness to them. There's an independent streak that you can't go against. Well, you can go against it, but it will always come back up. The person might be able to go against it for, a few months, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, but always they will start to kind of balk at the constraints. And it can be that we bark at the constraints, Scorpio. It's like, I need to be able to express myself freely and openly and spiritually and understandingly. Now, the Seven of Wands is like, pick your battles. Pick your battles, because if we fight every single battle, first of all, people will be like, oh, well, that's just Scorpio having another fight, getting into another argument. That's great. It doesn't mean anything. So when we really stand up for what we believe in, people won't be listening. But also it's a sense of, what is it that I truly stand for? What is it that I truly want? And what is it, like, what's my line in the sand? What is kind of the hill I'm going to die on? And so here with the Seven of Wands, and that's, of course, figuratively speaking, the hill to die on, it's like, this is what I stand for. And this is what I want. And so people won't be able to say, oh, what a hothead, Scorpio is. They're like, no, Scorpio, like, if Scorpio is standing up for this, then that's exactly what Scorpio wants. Then there has to be a gravitas to it. The bonus card is the Three of Pentacles. Now, for some of us, we have 3 people within a relationship, okay? Now, it can be that we're in a relationship and the person that we're with is kind of fooling around. It can be that our eye has been caught by somebody and we're like, oh my gosh, do I stay? Do I go? We really have to start saying, what do I want? What do I want? What am I seeing as sacred within myself? Do I want to take this chance? Do I want to build on something more solid? There's a lot of variables that come up that only through meditation, self-reflection, will we be able to answer. With the turn of the card, we won't be able to see exactly where everything is supposed to be and exactly with whomever we're supposed to be with. Now, we do have, of course, Taurus and Aries energy. Of course, again, Aries energy, March 21st to April 19th. Taurus energy comes right after that, April 20th to May 20th. So we do have that energy coming forward, and that can be playing a role in what is catching our eyes, because we want somebody who's very self-assured, very determined. But again, with that person, we're going to need to know when to pick our battles and when not to, because they're going to be so driven that it might almost feel as sometimes we get left out in the cold. Now, the chakra energy for this time is family, the root chakra. It's the building of a family, definitely around the Hierophant. It is, and the Emperor can represent a father, or a father-like figure. The root chakra is saying that at our root is how we were raised, how we grew up. Now, whether that our caregivers were our parents, whether they weren't, whether if we grew up rather conventionally or rather unconventionally, it doesn't really matter at all. Spirit doesn't care. What Spirit cares about is the structure for which we tap into, the emotions that build us, the hurts that we need to overcome, and the blessings that we need to embrace. And so with family, it can be the family we were born into, the family that adopted us, the family that we create ourselves. But there's a sense here of beauty in community, and we need to have that beauty in community. There's also a sense of thinking, well, this is how it is. This is the pattern within my line, within the people who raised me. I'm not going to be able to break it. And what we're seeing here is that, yes, family is important, but sometimes breaking the chains that we're born into is equally as important. It leads us then to the moon. The energy that we have to be mindful of is the energy of fear, and the people who play off and prey off of that fear. Now, the moon also represents Pisces energy, February 19th to March 20th. But this is also fear-mongering, and it doesn't have to be simply relegated to a Pisces, though we can know that Pisces in our lives are a little bit more timid in certain areas, especially areas of like emotional bravery, because they can see everything going wrong. They can see themselves making the wrong choice. And sometimes they get paralyzed with, oh my gosh, but it's not going to turn out okay. Oh my gosh, but it could turn out all wrong. And it's like, yeah, it could, but it could also turn out brilliantly. So why not take that chance? Why not move forward? It's the subconscious and the conscious self having to come together, and each not trying to outsing the other in the howling of the hounds right here, because we have the wolf and we have the dog. But it's in the acceptance and the beauty of the harmony coming together, of the way the two songs intertwine. Right here, it is a crab, but in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it is a lobster. And a lobster, as it builds serotonin, becomes bigger, becomes more confident, becomes a bigger predator within life, but also a more assured being. And that's what we're being called to do. We're being called to look at the fears and say, yeah, there's a lot that I can be afraid of. There's a lot that I can be apprehensive about. There's a lot that can strike me down. But there's also a lot of beauty here, and there's a lot of possibilities. We have to be very conscious during this time of people playing off of our fears within relationships, playing off of our fears within our life, making us question ourselves, or just ourselves questioning ourselves into this place where we think, all I have is worry, all I have is doubt, all I have is anger. What the heck is going on here? And the moon is saying, no, now it's time to embrace what we desire, what we want. It's to take fears, and instead of making them what cripple us, make them what make us braver. Because every single time we face a fear, we change the countenance of our being. We change the way that we stand. We change the gravitas within our eyes. And it leads us to being a student of our hearts. And it's this fear that really is a catalyst for so much during this time, but also a catalyst within our lives, Scorpio. Because we can easily hide away. Scorpio, if you just think of the animal of the Scorpio, it can hide away in dark shadows so easily, or even in just any sort of shadow, even if it's just a light one. And it can say, you know what, no, I'm not participating in this. And it has a fierceness to it. It has a ferocity. The smaller the Scorpio is, the more deadly it is. And so here, when we look at fears and we look at what we doubt, and if we let ourselves shrink away and shrink away and shrink away, we become smaller and smaller. We become deadlier and deadlier, because we can wield such ferocity of insight and understanding. The way that we see things becomes very impactful. And so when we step back and say, no, instead of becoming this fantastic kind of predator, this of fear and of anger and of, being able to strike the poison right when it will count the most, I am going to become the student of my heart and my soul and what I love and what I desire and what I want to build within my life, so that whether people think it's poison or it's brilliance, I will be able to let it shine. I will be able to stand in the confidence of me. Now, when it comes to love and relationships, well, what we're looking at here is a shift. We're looking at a claiming of power, even though we come through as a student. Now, this is also a child card. Our lives can very much be focused around a water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer, but also around our children during this time if we have them. It can also be, and I know for people who have children, you'll be like, it's not the same. But, for babies, it can be around dogs, cats, any animal that we really care for, any being that we really care for. This all of a sudden becomes one of our main focuses. And we find that we learn a lot through really connecting heart to heart with them and what we desire in the way that we're moving forward. There's also a sense of saying, let my heart guide me. Let myself connect. Sitting in meditation, as much as we might think, oh my gosh, no, I don't want to, but sitting quietly for 20 minutes in meditation can be the absolute game changer. All of a sudden, we get to commune in that time with spirit. We get to quiet the world. We get to connect with ourselves. We get to see what is right and what is wrong within us. And we get to build an understanding. There's a true power here within the Page of Cups, within the sense of coming together. And it starts to open up the world to us, because it starts to show us that maybe we weren't looking at everything the way that we need it to be. Maybe we were looking at everything the way the world says, okay, this is it. And the world can also be, as the world opens to us, we also start to reject the way that people say, but this is what everybody does. This is how everybody does it. This is what everybody needs. And it's like, yeah, okay, but this is me. This is what I want, and this is what I need, and this is what I desire within my life. This is what I'm looking for, and this is how I want to move forward. And there's a sense where we might think, wow, this is really egotistical. But in a relationship, have you ever found that when you're totally selfless and you're like, wow, I like this person so much and I can change this about me and I can change that about me. And you know what? It wasn't really important for me to voice that opinion. And I didn't care if we had, Thai food or Chinese food. It didn't matter at all. So we start to just kind of let things slide. Let things slide until one day we think, I've lost me. I've never lost me so much as until this moment. And I feel overwhelmed and I don't know how to move forward. And now the world feels like a scary place because I lost my footing within it. There's a sense of getting it back. There's a sense here of saying, hold up 1 minute, like that's not fair. And taking it back, taking back our voice and taking back our power and taking back our understanding and taking back our focus and opening up our world. And it leads us to looking at the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant is the traditions that we want. Now, it's our traditional self also. So the Hierophant in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is the Pope, and you can kind of see that depicted rather abstractly. I love these cards in these cards. So here we have this energy of the eternal father figure coming forward. That's true. But we also have the sense of, this is what I am. These are the rules that will not be broken within my life, that should not be broken. And if I do break them, I have to own it. I have to understand it. The Hierophant is power. The Hierophant is focus. The Hierophant is truth that cannot be denied. And the Hierophant is power because of that. When we are moving forward during this time, we look at the institutions that we want to be a part of and the institutions that we don't want to be a part of. And I firmly believe, as Spirit shows me, is that we don't have to be a part of everything. We can say, yeah, that's right for me, and no, that isn't. There's a sense of claiming our story and claiming the gravitas within that story, but also saying, how do I want to move forward in love? How do I want to be treated in love? What is it that I desire? Because so often we leave it up to the other person. They're so nice, they give me flowers, and I ask for them, or I lay hints and they give it. But if we said, what makes me really happy is receiving flowers, and I would really love it if you could send a bouquet of flowers once a month. That would just thrill me. What if we started claiming what we wanted? What if we start saying what we needed? What if we said to the person, this is my truth. This is the truth that I need to live by. This is the force that I have within my life. And it needs to be heard. It needs to be seen. Or we start saying it to ourselves. This is who I am. This is what I want. This is where I want to be headed. And I can't surround myself with people who don't understand that. Either the people rise up and they understand, or they begin to understand, and they walk with us. Or we find that they drift away over time. Now, whether we're in a relationship, whether we're married, whether we're seeking out somebody, this can really show us as we rise, whether their energy, whether themselves can rise with us or not. And it leads us to the Six of Wands. It's not apologizing. It's not saying, I wish I could have done that better, or I didn't really understand the force of this, and maybe I should rethink it. It's like, no, I'm celebrating me. Because even if the choice that I made was a mistake, it was still a choice that I made. It was still a power that I grasped. It was still a way that I move forward. And that is what I'm celebrating within myself. There isn't this, oh my goodness, did I make a mistake? Oh my goodness, I have to second guess myself 18 million different times. I'm done. That was so much energy, believe me. As an A++ warrior, I meditate a lot on it. And divinity says, well, why can't you trust you? Why do you have to project into the future and think of the worst case scenarios that you cannot stop? Why are you denying yourself your present? And I think it's rude of Spirit to point things out so fiercely and poignantly to me, because it's not things I want to hear. But it's important. How can we celebrate ourselves if we're living in the future or if we're living in the past? We have to live in the right now. And the importance and the beauty and the power of that now. And to start saying to ourselves, you know what? I'm doing really well. I'm magnifying my achievements instead of magnifying my failures. And I'm loving who I am, even if at times it feels foolish to love myself. I'm celebrating who I am, even though at times it feels foolish to celebrate myself. I need to move forward in the greatness and in the power that is me. And it brings us then to the Emperor. And the Emperor is the sense of being the general of our lives. It is the sense of embracing really this kind of patriarchal power, the way that an emperor holds the throne, because the emperor, of course, isn't the empress. And it is saying here, I believe in my voice. I believe in the battles that I fight for. And this is why it's saying to be mindful of the battles, because we can believe in every single battle we hold and every single time we fight. But we've all met those people who are just fighting all the time, and it's one thing after another, and they're exhausting to be around. What they say may hold absolute validity, but it's like, I can't be in a constant state of war. And that is what divinity is saying here. In a relationship that is a constant state of war, why are we sticking around? Just to see how the next attack will come? Just to always have to plan 15 steps in advance? To never be sure of where our foot rests and if we're going to be safe or not? There's a fierceness to ourselves that comes out. There's a ferocity to our understanding. The Emperor is determined, the Emperor is focused. But we also have to know when we want to fight and when we don't. And the very interesting thing is that when we talk about love, we are invoking, in a way, the ancient Greek goddess of Venus, right? And Venus and Aries were lovers. So war and love and passion come together, because if we think about it, it makes sense. You need fire for both to sustain. And so here we can be in a relationship, or we could have been in a relationship where the battles were huge. But the passion, when there was passion, it was great. And we can find that either that passion went away and it's not something that's coming back, or that it can't sustain the battles. The battles are outweighing the passion, the love, the beauty. So for some of us, it's like, okay, we need to step back, and we might need to step out of that relationship. For others of us, it's saying, stand your ground in what you want. Love, that song, Love is a Battlefield. Well, in a way that it is. We need to know what we stand for and what we can let slide. We need to know what we want and what we don't. And if we think, oh, well, my partner will just know, they'll just innately know everything about me, and I'll just innately know everything about them, or they'll tell me. Heck, no, they won't. There's a lot of things that people wish not to tell and don't see the point of. But there are a lot of things that people wish not to tell and, again, don't see the point of, that are absolutely imperative to know. So it's being fierce within ourselves. It's saying, I matter. I am a warrior of my love, of what I desire. And it leads us to picking our battles really rather wisely. Because again, we can't fight every battle. We can't step on every stone, get angry every moment. It's hurtful, it's wasteful, it's overwhelming. And it doesn't get to be that way. Life doesn't have to be one battle after another, especially in love, especially when we're crowned in healing, because it can be that it was always a battle. We're coming out of relationships. We could have seen our parents' relationship or our caregiver's relationship. It was always a battle. It was always a fight. And now we want to move towards blessings. We want to move out of fear into being a student of what the heart can bring, of what connection can really bring forward. And what we have to overcome here is a sense of two's company, three's a crowd. Now, it can be that polyamory is absolutely right for you, and if that rings true, that's awesome. For me personally, it doesn't. It isn't something that I'd be even remotely good at. So here, there is a sense of knowing what is right for us as individuals, but also understanding that a third party can be coming in. It can be a sense of one or both of us being tempted by somebody else. And you know what? That's okay. What matters is, there's an old Dean Martin song, and it's highly inappropriate, but I still think it's terribly funny, that says you can't go to jail for what you're thinking. So you can think like, wow, it would be really nice to hook up with that person, even if I'm in a committed relationship. Or wow, that person just screams trouble, but I'm so immensely attracted to them. And you can have your fantasy, but you don't have to act it out. It's the acting it out part that can get everybody into a lot of trouble. And so here with the Three of Pentacles, it's like, I claim my route forward, and I can't change anybody else's. And it's owning that. Because a lot of times we think, wow, if I was just a better person, if I was just, sexier or more XYZ, the other person wouldn't have strayed. No, it was their choice. It might have been a moment of weakness. They might absolutely, be repentant of it, but it was still a choice. And so here, there's a sense of knowing your worth and not underselling yourself. Though I will tell you what my mom told me once when I was a teenager. There's a lot worse things in life than being cheated on. Now, that might ring true for maybe just one of you, and others of you might be absolutely outraged. But my mother and my father did not have a good marriage, and she would know about betrayals. So here, with the Three of Pentacles, it's looking what can be forgiven and what cannot. And it's being able to move forward in the power of the heart and in the power of the prosperous soul. Now let's see the spirit message here. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Scorpio, love and relationships. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Fantastic. And we have here, relax. Relax. Don't take it all so seriously. Let yourself breathe. Breathe. Let yourself relax. Let yourself be enchanted. Let yourself be able to step back and say, I know divinity has a plan. And I'm embracing that plan fully, absolutely, and personally. It leads us then to the spirit animal message, Scorpio. Love and relationships, Scorpio. Love and relationships. The stag spirit. Take the leap. Take the leap in love. Take the leap towards what we want. Take the leap towards the power of our voice. Take the leap. We'll be surprised at where it leads us. We really, really will be. The subconscious spirit animal message is the owl. You see clearly now. Why? Because you're seeing things from the realm of your power, from the individual power, instead of the codependency, instead of the fear, instead of the doubt. It's like, no, there's power here. And that power gets to be brilliant. It leads us then to our subconscious spirit message, which is imagine. Imagine what life can be. Imagine the world that we want. Not unrealistic expectations, but expectations that are powerful and beautiful, and letting them come forward. Letting the mind connect with the soul, connect with the heart, and seeing what's possible, because we have. The subconscious chakra message is meditation. This is the crown chakra. Connecting the mind with the heart is going to be intrinsically important to us. Again, as Spirit said before, taking that time to meditate, taking that time to connect with us. Now, it doesn't have to be to meditate and to sit quietly, though there is a real beauty in that, and I would highly recommend it. If we need to meditate by going for walks or, mindlessly kind of pacing back and forth and letting that be our meditation, let it be. Let our mind connect with our hearts, connect with spirit, and see what develops, see the messages that we get. We can meditate on an issue that we have, a worry that we have, a fear that we have, that seems to be overpowering, that seems to be, just growing and growing and growing. And then we see what divinity has to say with it as we meditate. We see how divinity rips it apart and brings it down to the core issue, which is really quite beautiful to experience. Our subconscious person message is the King of Pentacles. Now, this is Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This is a person who rules, who is very pragmatic, very succinct, very, A equals B, and we shall do things just like this. They hold the throne because in their mind they hold the wealth. There is a sense of saying, I hold just as much wealth as you do, though it might not be able to be counted in dollars or in gold. There is power and prosperity as we move forward and as we embrace what we want and who we are. It moves us then to our subconscious tarot message, which is the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is something that we do not want to face. It can be a hurt and a pain from our childhood coming up, from a past life coming up, from a failed relationship coming up. But this is something that will be able to cripple us. And we might not know why, because that's the past life part coming forward. But what we need to do is be able to embrace who we are right now and to say that I am moving forward for me. I'm moving forward for what I desire, and I'm not running away this time. I'm not hiding. I am embracing my power and my purpose. And yes, during this time, people will be sneaky. They will try to be underhanded. They will try to say, like, haha, I got you. I got you because I know you're sensitive here. They won't, because you'll be surprising them with how strong you are and how capable you are. All right, Scorpio, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we see our worth and as we embrace our fierceness. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Scorpio.